Welcome to another Fibrenew podcast. This installment features Fibrenew franchise owner Jerry Mainstone of Fibrenew, Ocala, Florida. Jerry started his franchise in Central Florida in January of 2022 after he and his wife Lindy moved from Michigan to escape the winters there. It was a great lifestyle move for the Mainstones, but it also ended up being a very solid business move as well. And in this podcast, Jerry tells us how they've been building their business over the past 3 years, what he's learned along the way, and what he has planned for the future. My name is Jesse Johnstone. We appreciate you being here with us to listen to this podcast conversation. To get things started, we asked Jerry to introduce himself.
Jerry Mainstone, Fibrenew, Ocala, which is in Florida, Central Florida. And I cover Ocala, and the villages are the two biggest metropolitan areas in my territory. And we finished training January 29th of 2022. So February 1 is pretty much was my first job. February 1 of 2022 was my first job.
Time flies. I'm sure learned a lot in those 3 years and many adventures. And we're going to cover some of that in this conversation.
Okay.
But let's go back to, starting your business and you moved clear across the country shortly before that, right? So let's maybe talk about that move and going south.
My wife and I are from Michigan. Whole family was from Michigan, and my parents were down in Florida. And at the time, we had 2 of our 3 daughters down here. And so we moved down here, purchased a house during COVID for rental property. And my wife eventually could work from home for COVID. Well, she said, sayonara, I'll see you. She left me in Michigan and she came to Florida. And she would work 4 to 5 weeks at a time and said, I love it down here. Let's sell our house and move to Florida. So we had some of those husband-wife conversations. I lost and we moved to Florida, but it's been a good move.
I'm sure you're not sorry you lost that conversation.
No.
For negotiation, no.
None whatsoever. I'm happy and glad we made that decision.
Where you live now in the villages, I mean, that's a pretty stark difference, I'm sure, from life in Michigan.
The villages, for the individuals that haven't heard about it, is a retirement community. It's supposed to be 55 and older. There are younger individuals. The villages has grown tremendously, but it's pretty much a golf community. But there is entertainment 7 nights a week at 3 squares, soon to be 4, free entertainment, I should say. And it's 7 nights a week, 4 hours a night. And it's great entertainment. They get local bands and regional bands, and it's a good time. If you're retired and can do the stuff during the day, they've got clubs for everything. Okay. I'm going to start a leather club so I can look for volunteers to help me clean and restore leather with the contract in the villages. So I want to get some of those individuals, and that kind of helped me get started because all the car clubs I went to every car show when we first started and presented to probably 60% of those car clubs. And I still get work from them today, and we'll walk around to the car club and see some people. And there's new individuals that are in the club, and I'll talk to them about the business and what we do. I look for issues in their car before I talk to them, but I don't point that out because individuals with nice cars are proud of their cars and they don't want to see what you see. But the conversation kind of goes, hey, we do leather. I'm Jerry, introduce myself and say, we do leather, vinyl, and plastic restoration. If you know anybody in the club or any of your friends that's got issues with the interior of the vehicle, I'd love to talk to them. They'll usually go, well, let me show you what I got. So I've scheduled jobs because of a car club right away, but sometimes it takes a couple weeks before you get something. I did an airplane through the car club. Individual had an airplane, so I redid his airplane. So yeah, that's pretty much the villages.
That's all. And are we talking classic cars or daily driver cars? What's the
everything? I mean, there's a Tesla car club, there's a Mini Cooper car club, there's classic car clubs, there's Chrysler 200 car club. I mean, whatever's out there, if somebody wants to run it, there's a BMW club, there's a Mercedes-Benz club, but there's also a German auto car club. There's a convertible car club. So, I mean, whatever's out there, it's there.
And you service it all, obviously.
Yes.
It's leather, plastic, and vinyl. How much of your work would you say is in the villages versus out of the villages?
70%.
Is in the villages?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Yep. Yep. It's weird. 70% of my residential business is in the villages, but probably 60% of my commercial stuff is in Ocala.
Sure. That makes sense.
Um,
Yeah.
and Ocala has three big retirement communities, many villages. They're not as big as the villages. And I occasionally get work out of that, but not a lot.
Okay.
I get there's a lot of people moving to Florida and moving around in Florida. So I get a lot of moving damage, and work through moving companies as well.
And you mentioned RV dealers as well. That's another
Yes.
source of
Yes.
work.
I have four of the five national RV dealers that's in my territory.
So on a weekly basis, you're scheduling most of your residential and car work in the villages, and then you venture outside into Ocala and surrounding communities for all your commercial work. That's a pretty good mix.
I joined BNI in Ocala
Okay.
right after, I mean, like I said, I started 1st of February, and the 1st of March, I became a member of BNI in the Ocala area because I knew I needed to network there. And then just recently, I took on a new zip code, which is the northern part of the villages, and there's a lot of medical there. And I have my first medical job in that territory the the first week in May, like the first Friday in May.
Okay.
We're redoing 4 dental chairs for them. So, yeah, we hit that. We hit a lot of restaurants. And BNI, one of my 30 seconds is when you walk into a restaurant, a doctor's office, or whatever it is that's got leather, plastic, and vinyl, if it's got damage, take a picture of it, text it to me, and text me the address of the location, and I'll go talk to them. And so I follow up with them, and I get a lot of text. We've got 45 people that go out to eat or they go to the doctor's office all the time. And right now I'm closing about 10% of it. I want to get that higher, but BNI is about warm referrals, and what they're doing with pictures isn't really necessarily a warm referral, but it's getting me in there. Like one of the RV dealers that I just picked up last month, someone got promoted and they were moving desk around, and they found my business card in the desk when I talked to somebody else, and they couldn't get a hold of their normal guy. So they called me, and I said, you know what? I can be out in about 2 hours. Let me finish this job. I moved our schedule around and I got out there, and I've been their number one person. They said, hey, you're answering your telephone, and if you can't make it, you at least ask us when it needs to be done by. And because if I can, I try to get to them within 24 hours if I can't get them that day.
Let's talk a little bit about you going into business ownership. What were you doing before, and how did that lend a hand into what you're doing now?
The job I had before we moved to Florida I was VP of Workforce Development for Goodwill Industries, and I oversaw all of our job training programs, working with the less fortunate, the disabled individuals, and giving them training and finding them jobs, and working with the school districts to work with juniors and seniors. We had a youth program. So we did a lot of that, and I had a lot of financial budgeting, leadership skills from that. And that was pretty much my whole professional career. But as I tell customers when they ask, my dad had me building furniture by the time I was 9, 10 years old. If you're going to have a car at 16, you better have some money because we're not buying it for you. Yeah. He built 3 houses when I was growing up. I built 3 houses, worked on my car. He restored a 57 Chevy, which I helped him on. I was working on a 69 Chevelle. So I've got a lot of hand-eye coordination, experience with tools, and problem-solving skills. So that stuff fits right in. As the support team says, when you're out there, we teach you one thing, but what have you got in your toolbox that can get the job done? And so you're going through, and your toolbox grows over a period of time so that you have more stuff. But so, yeah.
Did it feel a little bit full circle going back to your younger years as far as the hands-on and the mechanic side and building houses side and all that?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yes. Yep. I learned this for some reason. I didn't know what it was at the time, but now I know.
And then obviously with your business experience and leadership experience and financial management experience, that obviously lends a hand into running your own business.
Yes.
A little bit different as far as scale goes, but can you talk about any correlation there?
The big thing is the leadership, understanding customer service and the importance of customer service. And every time we leave somebody's house, we say, what do we have to do to get this so you'd give us a 5-star review? Now, the 75, 80-year-old people don't have Google and they can't leave, don't understand. And I've tried to help them write 5-star reviews. And it's like, oh man, this isn't, it'd be nice, but it's kind of a waste of time. I hired a tech. He's a retired military veteran. Having that skill set to be able to train him and recognize how I'm teaching him and what he does, whether it's working or not. It's also, I noticed today, it's one of those things that he has his own way of doing things, and I got to let him do them his own way. He has to follow the procedures and the processes that Fibrenew has set up, but he has his own way of organizing his toolbox, and it's not the same way I would organize it, but he is who he is. And, so understanding that and recognizing that to say, okay, it's nice that you have that ability, and he appreciates the fact that I give him that flexibility.
What was the original connection with him?
I was, you're in somebody's house for 2 hours. I was telling everybody I was looking for somebody, and it was a moving damage claim. And this customer had just moved into the area, and I was talking to him, and he goes, "Oh my gosh," he goes, "you have to meet this guy." He goes, this guy is working at the eyeglass store. He's gone above and beyond customer service. He's very pleasant. He's very professional. Can I introduce you guys? And I said, yes. And I even told him, I said, hey, I'll pay you a stipend. If this works out and I end up hiring him and he stays on for 90 days, I'll pay you a stipend. Why not use your money to do the right thing to get somebody? And I mean, we get tons of referrals from this guy still today. Justin's been with me just over a year. So yeah, it was a customer. I probably told 50 customers, maybe 100 customers I was looking for somebody. And there was one that finally knew somebody and made that connection.
And then how did you start to introduce him to the business as far as learning the trade and getting him into the groove of Fibrenew?
We started sometime in September talking, and I asked him to do a ride along. And he said, hey, I got Fridays off. He goes, that's the only day I have off. The kids are in school. My wife's working. He goes, I can spend half, 3/4 of a day with you. And spent 6 weeks doing ride-alongs. And he was, kind of the same way Sam Torres did for me. I let him get his hands dirty, see if it was something, see how comfortable he was doing it and all of that type of stuff. And so that got us into the holidays, and he wanted to stick around with his company for financial reasons through the holidays. And he started the first part of February.
You have also started to talk to him about, eventual buy-in to the business. I think you're maybe planting some seeds with him. So
yes,
talk a little bit about that. And what
I mean, in the ride-alongs, before I even hired him on, it's like, hey, here's my plan with this business. I'm 61 years old right now, and we're approaching retirement. The idea is to work 7 to 10 years, busting our tail to build the business. And, we want to sell it at some point in time. And so I started talking to him about that and said, hey, this is something that you want, and it's something you like to do. Well, we can talk about selling the business and do a transition in the business to help move you and move your family forward. I've even talked to him if it gets to the point he wants to purchase his own franchise, if he's ready before I am, he could do that. But the goal is to get him set up and to purchase our franchise when we sell it.
Smart planning on your part, and it helps him out knowing what he's working towards in the time he's working with you. So
yes,
I think it's win-win.
We just implemented a bonus program for him as well.
Okay.
And that's any new business he brings in, he'll get 10% of any of the profits we make the following month, and we did it the following month because if he brings it in mid-month, I don't want to cheat him out only having a 15-day month. So, if he brings something in the 15th or 16th of this month, then anything that we do the month of May, he'll get a portion of it.
So here you are, a little over 3 years after moving to Florida, starting a business, a new phase of life. What's it been like?
It's been a challenge. It's been fun. It's a roller coaster. It adds different twists and turns to life being a business owner and starting out from scratch. And I I still think sometimes it's like, man, if you're doing this in your hometown and starting this in your hometown and you've got a great network and that, type of stuff, it potentially would be easier. I mean, the amount of people that I knew in Battle Creek and the restaurant owners and, having the warm welcome. So it's been a challenge as far as doing that, but you don't give up. You keep making those sales calls and keep approaching those commercial customers, keep hitting them. They're going to eventually pop. You're not going to get a yes 100% of the time. When I was in sales early in my life, there's a saying that if you put a pen on a dog's tail, a pen and a pad on a dog's tail, and the dog just walks around town, somebody's going to sign it, without even asking, they're just going to sign it. You got to go find those people so that they're out there. We even do a couple of small advertising in the local Catholic church brochures, and those have been very, very profitable. I pay like $140 a quarter. They pop at least one or two jobs a quarter, so they're very profitable. Then that becomes the word of mouth and everything. So it's been fun. It's been a challenge. Are there sleepless nights? Oh, sure there are. Are there stressful days? Sure there are. But that's even if you're working from someone else and another man's paying you or another woman's paying you, it's stressful, but it's very rewarding.
Yeah, truth told, it takes a lot of fortitude starting a business, no matter what it is, and
Yes.
no matter where you are. And
Yes.
you're a testament to sticking to the program and not giving up. And then before we go too far down the track, let's talk about some of the best things of running a Fibrenew franchise. What comes to mind there?
Being able to schedule your personal time and not having to go to a boss and get drilled while you need the afternoon off. You just schedule it. You don't schedule appointments, and that's been a good thing to have a staff member and have Justin take care of things if things come up. And things are going to come up for him too. He's a lot younger than I am, so he has family things that come up. So you work that both ways. So the personal life and the growth, the freedom. I love being outside. I've never been a factory person where I could stay inside a building and stand on a line for 8, 10, 12 hours a day. It's hot in Florida and you sweat very quickly in the summer months, but man, is it nice having fresh air all the time and having the windows down and going from appointment to appointment.
Sounds pretty ideal. Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Want to now ask you about your building. What's all involved there with your space that you have?
The property that I'm on there's 8. I'll call them pole barn buildings. Each pole barn building has 5 overhead doors and 5 offices. So it's 1,500 square feet. I have a 12 or 14 foot overhead door. I can pull an RV. It's big enough I could pull an RV into. We have a Maserati coming in on Friday that's coming into the shop, and they're going to leave it, and we're going to pull the windshield out, re-pull the dash, and then they're going to get a new windshield. So it's big enough to allow us to do that. We do upholstery. We've got tables set up and a sewing machine so that we can do upholstery. Today there was a sofa repair that had a removable cushion, and I knew it was going to take some time, and I wanted Justin to have practice to that. So he went and picked up the cushion, brought it back to the shop so I could do my stuff, and then he could work on that, and I'd be there to ask him questions. We bring sofas in, and I've got 2 RV love seats in there right now that's going to be reupholstered. Those, how those peel in the bonded leather, and that's terrible. So we're going to reupholster them, and we're getting our feet wet and reupholstering RV furniture.
Good to have that option, really.
Yes.
For shop work, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yes. I tried to do that stuff out of the garage at the house, and then I got tired of tearing stuff down and picking stuff up when the weekend came. And then the transition was I had a 10 by 20 storage unit, And that was nice but then you still, when you set everything up, you've got to tear everything down at the end of the day. So now it's just nice. It's like, okay, this is where I left off. I leave it here. I come in the morning. It's like no setup, it's there. You can get started and it's nice.
I know it's can be looked at as an expense having a shop, but did you notice an increase in business as a correlation to having the space at the same time? Did they go hand in hand?
No, but it is now.
Okay. So it took a while.
Yes. I mean, we got it in July. I don't advertise it as far as having a shop with an address or anything. The shop is just there. I
Okay.
mean, because we're still 90% mobile.
Yeah.
And so when we run across jobs and things like that, we can do it and we can bring them in but we schedule time at the shop when we know customers are coming.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So I didn't, it's not a retail location. I don't have a staff. My next move, Lindy and I have discussed, the next move is going to be getting an upholsterer so they can do upholstery. They can kind of take over some of the phone stuff and then they would be staffing that. And then we can kind of publish the address at that point in time.
Gotcha. Be more storefront or public facing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
My next question was actually about some of your future plans and what, the next few years look like, what you guys are planning for. You just mentioned one, but what else is written on paper as far as goal planning?
So I would like to, at this point, I'm thinking probably have 1, 2 upholsterers and maybe 4 or 5 technicians. When I first started this, I was overzealous and wanted to have a second territory. But when you really look at it, the amount of opportunity that when you guys set up a territory for us, I mean, if we hammer and if we go after marine, if we go after commercial, when you have residential, if you go after every one of those service sectors and you go after them hard, you could support a team. At least my territory could support a team of 6 or 7 going after that, if not more. It's what you're comfortable with. And I know there's some franchises that just do used car dealerships. I only have 1 used car dealership. I'd like to get more, but there's a rattle can company that doesn't have insurance that charges $55, $65 a car. I've thought about doing that. And it's like, I can't go that. I'm not going to go that low just to get the business.
Yeah.
When you can get other business to take it, it doesn't make sense.
Race to the bottom at that point.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that's it. And as I've said, there's plans to sell this. I'm not treating this as a job and it's just covering my bills, so that I can go to work every day. I want to build this so that it generates income and, I can, spend more time away. Like my wife and I will go back to Michigan over the 4th, and Justin pretty much does the jobs that he can, and I'm comfortable. He did it last year and he is only here with us for 4 or 5 months, but I scheduled easy jobs for him. So now I can schedule more jobs for him and get someone else. And that's one of the things I talked to him about in the ride-alongs. It's like, okay, this is where we want to be, but the next progression is to get 1 or 2 technicians and upholster and then have you manage them. And so that you're watching them and it's not necessarily me. And then I can go on and do bigger things.
Good for you.
Like golf 3 days a week.
Yeah. Get back to golfing. You said you haven't golfed in a few years, right?
Yeah, I haven't golfed since I started this.
Okay.
So, but that's that was a decision Lindy and I made. It's like, we're going to work this hard and get it off the ground and get it profitable. And that was a sacrifice that I made, and I'm happy I did it.
Jerry, any last comments or things that we maybe didn't cover on this that you wanted to mention? I'll give you an open floor here, sir.
It's been fun. It's been well worth it. It's exciting. The support from headquarters in Calgary and the support from the support team are huge, and it would be very difficult to do. The products that we offer and that we use is fantastic. And like I said, it's great having that support network. You don't know how many times if you haven't done something. The first time I did Annan Leather, I was rewatching the Annan Leather Hive videos at 10, 11 o'clock at night before my appointment the next day. And having the community forum on Hive for us to ask questions and share information out there. Like I'm doing dental chairs. So I got my dental chair information off of Hive, going into search and going dental chairs. Actually, the AI robot, the chatbot is what I use. It's like, okay, give me dental chairs. And it brought up all the past posts of dental chairs and medical chairs. So that having that stuff late in the evening is very beneficial, or first thing in the morning before our office hours.
Jerry,
The other thing I'll say is the partner network that you guys have established. I will go 1 month and I'll have 7 or 8 phone calls from warranty companies that Permaplate and some of them warranty companies. Then you go a month or two and nobody calls you, but then you get 3 or 4. Richmond Auto Upholstery, Enos Fabrics, all of those booth covers, all of those partnerships you guys have set up is fantastic.
Well, Jerry, this has been fun, man. I really appreciate you taking the time to sit down, tell us your story, and we love everything you're doing. Sounds like you're having fun. You got Justin on the team. You got plans for more people coming on board, and just keep doing what you're doing. It's all fantastic. And,
yep.
Say congrats on your success so far.
All right. Well, thank you. And thank you for your time.
We hope you enjoyed listening to Jerry's experience so far in his Fibrenew journey. If you're interested in hearing more podcasts with Fibrenew franchisees, please subscribe to the Fibrenew Exchange on Apple, Spotify, Audible, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. Each month, we hold live webinars with Fibrenew franchisees where we discuss all things Fibrenew franchising, from the work we do, our products, training, support, marketing, technology, systems, and a whole lot more. To register your spot for one of these live webinars, hop over to fibrenew.com/FOF, and we look forward to seeing you there. Until next time, take good care. Cheers.